Can Caleb Plant defeat Canelo Alvarez? Whew. This is going to be a tough fight because I love Caleb Plant. He comes from Nashville, Tennessee, just like I do, and I'm a huge fan of his. But his chances of winning this fight is probably about 10%. But if he does win, this is how he does it. Caleb Plant is a defensive genius, and he has a really good jab, and he's very emotionally composed. He grew up in a rough neighborhood really close by where I grew up in Nashville, and he is a game fighter. He doesn't get scared too easily. He can take some punches, but he doesn't have the most impressive resume. Caleb Plant has not really beat a long list of impressive fighters and champions and legends such as Canelo. I mean, Canelo's only had one loss, and that was against Floyd Mayweather, who is arguably one of the greatest boxers ever. So in order for Caleb Plant to win this fight, I mean, he doesn't have the hugest, knockout power punch, but he has an excellent jab, and Canelo has shown that he's vulnerable to the jab. Amir Khan was landing the jab all night before he got knocked out. Billy Joe Saunders was landing the jab before he got knocked out. But you see the pattern here. The pattern is they were landing before they got knocked out. So Caleb Plant's going to have to fight a perfect fight in order to win this match. And he could win by a split decision or a majority decision, but I don't see him knocking out Canelo because Canelo took punches from Triple G, who is, one of the biggest punchers out there in boxing history. So Caleb Plant's going to have the best night of his career ever, and Canelo's going to have a bad night. Maybe he eats a hamburger or some food that is spoiled and it upsets his stomach, or he catches a cold, a day before the fight. But this is not an easy fight for Caleb. Caleb's going to have to be perfect all 12 rounds, and Canelo has shown that he has the power that he can end a fight with one or two punches. I mean, he caved in Billy Joe Saunders' cheekbone, like actually put a crater in his face. That is scary power. So, but I'm not completely counting out Caleb Plant. If I was Caleb Plant, here's his keys to victory. During his training camp, he needs to put on some muscle and increase his punching power. He's going to have to sting Canelo in those early rounds with hard punches to gain his respect so that he can push him back and then outpoint him in those later rounds. But if he cannot establish respect early on, Canelo's going to walk him down and knock him out. So in order for Caleb to stand any sort of chance, he's going to have to put on some more muscle, increase his punching power, and he's going to have to make that sharp jab of his even more sharp, and he's going to have the perfect game plan. But even if he beats Canelo, there's likely to be an immediate rematch clause in the contract, and I don't see Caleb having the best night of his boxing career 2 fights in a row. So it ain't looking good for Caleb. But boxing is exciting because anything can happen when you put 2 strong men in the ring. And I'm going to be tuning in and watching, and I hope that you will as well. And I had to support Caleb because he's the hometown guy for me, but I'm a fan of both guys. I've been following them for a long, long time. And this is going to be a great fight just for the fans of boxing. And it's a very interesting chess match that we're going to see. So, is it going to be Caleb's technical ability that allows him to essentially create one of the biggest upsets in boxing history? Or is it going to be what we all think, and Caleb's going to use his defensive skills to last, for a couple of rounds and have maybe a few moments in the fight, but eventually he's going to get caught just like everybody else. We'll see. But Caleb is not without his skills, and he does have a chance. this isn't going to be a complete wash, but if I was a bet man, you got to go with Canelo. But let's tune in and see what happens. Comment below and tell me exactly how you think the fight's going to go round for round, and what is your ultimate prediction.